marriage is never complete in any culture, wherever you go, whether it's African, whether it is in the Western culture, it's never complete without children. And when it comes to having children, bring about the aspect of being a good parent. And sometimes you do everything in your ability and the children just do not turn out right. So Dr. Catherine Mutisya, what is good parenting?
Okay, first of all, let me say that there is no perfect child and there is no perfect parent.
Very true.
Yeah. So all that said and done, we basically need to do our best as parents and leave the rest to God. We need to balance discipline to the child and also self-confidence, because we know that if you do too much of punishment and criticism, then the child loses confidence.
Right.
And research has shown that basically when you bond with a child, especially early on in life, when I say bonding, I mean that parents need to create time to interact with their children. And I would call this play.
Right.
And play will mean different things to children of different age. For example, a toddler you'll just play the ball or hide and seek, depending on the age. When you're dealing with a teenager, you might have to play games together, go for golf together, go for football together, or whatever they like, or watch a movie together, or play a computer game together.
Right.
So you need to interact with your child. And it is said that children will look for attention in all ways. If you don't give them attention through play and what they like, then they look for attention by misbehaving.
Right.
Because you will see a parent who is quiet reading a newspaper, then the child starts misbehaving and breaking things. That parent will put the newspaper down and give attention to the child. So children will always look for attention, whether through behaving well or behaving badly. Then once you've created that bond,
right,
through when you play with them, you talk to them, you listen to them, you become friends. It's very easy to correct somebody who you are in good terms with. Then we need to set limits, because again, discipline, when you have a child who is not disciplined, then you are failing as a parent. You need to set limits. Many parents fail by not, first of all, setting the rules and routines. Like you'll find a parent who comes home from work and says, "Why are you still watching TV?" This parent has never sat down with the child to agree TV every day is this number of minutes or this number of hours.
Right.
That sleep time is at 9. Waking time, when people wake up, you need to create routines.
Right.
Take breakfast, shower, or the routines. When you have routines and a child knows that waking time up is this time, taking breakfast is this time, we brush our teeth before we go to play, TV in a day is 1 hour at this time, especially over the holidays, then it's very easy to enforce discipline. So I urge all the parents that as they attempt to set limits, they need to create routines which are known by everybody, especially working parents. You might need to stick it on the kitchen, and for the person who is left with the kids to be looking at it. And every family needs to have at least written rules. And rules change with time. When you see something you need to give attention, you change the rules.
Right.
So basically you need to bond with the child and set limits. And when you set limits, there must be consequences for breaking the rules. For example, if you say no playing in the road, if you find the child playing in the road, what do? Do you confiscate if it was a bicycle for some time? Or if they watched TV for 2 hours when they were supposed to watch for 1 hour, do you reduce TV time for the following day? You say there is no TV because yesterday you disobeyed. So there must be consequences. You set limits and you make sure you enforce the consequences. But we have a pyramid such that you spend more time bonding with the child and less time criticizing the child. It has been shown that when you teach behavior through positive reinforcement, when I talk of positive reinforcement, I mean things like rewarding when you need to
have done
achieve
something right or wrong.
a particular behavior, and incentives. So, and praising. When you praise a child when they have behaved well, then they are motivated to behave well the next time so that they can be praised. So praise and rewards works very good in molding behavior, as opposed to discipline. When you inflict pain, the behavior is not as enforced as much as when you teach behavior through praising and rewards. Yeah. So basically, spend time with your child, interact with them, then make sure you praise and reward to achieve the behavior you want. Make sure that the limits are set by setting the routines and setting the rules, and make sure that when a rule is broken, there's a consequence. If you don't enforce a consequence, then you won't achieve your goal.
Right. Yeah. And when it comes to listening, I've heard a lot of children, especially on a Sunday, right after Sunday school, and probably the child is playing in the playing ground. Sometimes I always hear, but mom, you're not listening to me. But mom, you're not listening to me. So to what extent do you as a parent know that it's high time I ought to listen to my child? Especially when they're saying you're not listening to me.
Yeah, okay. When a child says you're not listening to them, it means that they've not. It's not showing that you're actually listening. You might be listening, but they are not getting that message that mom or dad is listening. So basically, you need to validate what they are saying. And even if, sometimes kids would throw tantrums to get what they want. Yes. Then you can also validate that by saying, I can see you're sad because I didn't give you this. But basically, I can't give you this because of blah, 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 blah. So at least they'll know that you've listened to their wishes. Right. You've also noted that they are not happy. At least you've given a feedback to them that you're actually listening.
Great.
Yes.
So parents, should you have these young little ones that you're bringing up, make sure that you have discipline put to the table, that you play with them regardless of whether they're infants or toddlers or young adolescents, boys and girls. Take some time to spend with your children. Talk, listen. I know very many parents like to say they're listening, and they always have that filler. And you can tell they're not doing that, especially when they're probably driving or you're like trying to call up their attention. I like that dress. I like, yes, but very well they haven't taken it to account. You should also set boundaries, reward your children from time to time, and force a punishment or a consequence for breaking that which you have agreed upon. You're on Doctors On Call Radio. We'll be right back after this feature on the Healthways.
Healthways, practices to good health. The happy marriage. Marriages are certainly not made in heaven. However, by working hard at them, and by taking baby steps and not expecting too much out of everyday life, you can make miracles happen. So follow these tips and hopefully your marriage can be heaven on earth. Always remember to spend quality time alone. One cannot possibly be happy by not spending time with their spouses or loved one. This enhances communication. Spending time together ensures that you are respectful and supportive to each other's goals and dreams alike. Do not expect to be happy without accepting each other's differences. Be kind to each other and keep away selfish attitudes. Learn to help each other in your own little ways. Allow your children to witness special moments in your life, be it an anniversary or a birthday celebration. For when children see that their parents respect each other and are in love, the more they will want to emulate their parents in their future adult relationships. Lastly, remember, marriage ought to be for keeps and helping each other realize the very best of each other. So make it work, do it right.
Radio 316.
TuneIn is giving you a super deal.
For what it's worth, I will offer up my life.
You can now buy Sidewalk Prophets for only 400 Kenyan shillings if you buy the latest Mark Schultz or Need to Breathe album.
Oh, you sinner, and the weak at heart.
Get the Mark Schultz or Need to Breathe album and get a great discount of up to 195 shillings on the Sidewalk Prophets album. Super deal, only at TuneIn.
Now open every day from 9:30 to 7 p.m.
TuneIn, always low prices.
Bring all of your trouble,
come down, down.
Crosstalk.
6 to 7 p.m.
Crosstalk.
But sometimes being a politician can make you do many things that probably you didn't mean to do. They still says Okamba must come here. These are issues you can negotiate.
Unfortunately, we don't have a shadow cabinet.
This constitution has one promise. We must do things differently.
Crosstalk.
Every weekday from 6 to 7 p.m.
A critical look at what's happening around the world. Have you visited Radio316.net? Stream Radio 316 live. What's just played? What's playing now? And what's playing next? Artist info and so much more. Radio316.net.
Yes, your Doctors On Call Radio.